Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Noreen?
But how are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Sorry, I couldn't connect because I connect through the Al-Mawrid account and we changed the password and I totally forgot the password. So it was my mistake. I had to go and find it again.
Okay. We have only two participants.
We only
Only
have
one
one participant. Yes, it's only you.
Yes,
So you
we
tell
have.
me, how are you doing? And
Here
we
is
can
the
practice.
Azan going. So,
Is it namaz time over there?
I want to do Azan Maghrib, Namaz Maghrib.
Okay, then you know what? It's okay. Maybe this is why nobody is here because it's time for prayers in Pakistan.
Assalamu alaikum.
How are you, Rabia? Long time.
Oh, Alhamdulillah. I'm fine.
Excellent.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, Junaid. How are you?
I am fine. What about you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. I'm just going to be writing. Can you see my my whiteboard?
Yes, I can see.
Perfect. I'm just going to write the sentence that you wrote. I believe it was yesterday. And I'm going to start with correcting that sentence. And then, anyone, if you have any questions, if you want to practice something, then we can do that today. But I'm just going to start with this sentence. So this was your sentence, Junaid, right, from last class?
Yes.
And then I corrected it and I wrote, well, I corrected it, but I'm going to show you why I corrected it. So you see, you continued by saying death is certain and nobody escapes it. Its time and place are fixed, but we do not know when will this incident happen. Now, when we ask a question, our format is when plus will plus subject, right? When will you come back home, right? This is normally how a question is asked. But in your case, you are not asking a question, right? You're making a statement. Saying that you don't know when something will happen. That's why you have to say when something will. You don't put the will right after. And this is why here then you change the format to this. You say, because you're saying you don't know when something will happen. So you cannot, if you are just making a statement, you change the order. So instead of saying when plus will plus subject, you'll say when plus subject plus will, because it's not a question, it's a statement. So, and then it will be, you won't begin with it, right? So it will be something before, and then you will say it. So I could say, I don't know when it will rain. Not when will it rain. I'll say, I don't know when it will rain. I'm not asking. I am telling you what I don't know. So you can begin with, I don't know. You can begin with, he told me he doesn't know when lunch will be served. If he wants to ask the question, he will say, when will lunch be served? But he's not asking, he's making a statement, he's saying. That is why I changed the order of the will with when. Does that make sense,
Okay.
Junaid? Do you want more clarification?
Okay. I got it. Now it is clear to me.
Good,
Great.
good. So this is if you go on what is it? If you go on a website, it's called ingvid.com, and on there, if you search noun clauses, you could find a lot of extra work like this. You could find a lot of extra explanation or some examples. And have you ever seen this website, Junaid?
No, I have never seen this
This is
website.
it's a very, very good website. I like this website because on this website, first of all, it looks like YouTube. So the interface, the user face is a lot like YouTube, but on YouTube, everybody is an English teacher, right? You have people from all corners of the world and they're teaching English and Noreen over here is a student and also like she's like my little sister and I'm always getting so angry at her and I'm always telling her stop watching grammar videos on YouTube. Noreen, you know this, right? So I'm always telling
Yes.
her I'm always like stop watching grammar videos because they're not I don't know who's making them and 99% of the time I'm watching these videos and I'm thinking, "Oh my God, like why are you doing this?" And people are following. They have like thousands and sometimes even millions of followers, right? So I don't know. That's a whole different story. On this website, it's like YouTube, but you only have English teachers. So all the people who are teaching or showing, explaining anything, they're actual English teachers, real English teachers. So not anybody can go on there and make a video. That's one thing. Second is you can search any point that you don't understand and you'll find a lot of videos. Under each video, there's a tab, not most of the videos, not each video, but most of the videos, they have a tab called quiz. So you click on the quiz before you watch the video, right? I think it's a better idea to do it before and do the quiz. The quiz is interactive, so you can, you have 10 questions, you answer them, multiple choice, and then at the end you find out how well you did. Now, if you do really, really well, then you don't need to watch the video. Go watch a different video. But if you don't do very well, then you watch the video and you do the quiz again. So it's a very interactive way of learning. I don't recommend that you go on there and start watching all the grammar videos. I do not recommend that. But I do recommend that you go on there and watch other videos like expressions, spoken English, phrasal verbs, how to speak better, how to pronounce better. Those videos are amazing and you should watch as many as you can. And you will like them. And if you ever watch a video and it's not very clear or it's a little bit confused, you can always send me a message on WhatsApp, and I can further explain it to you. But I think they're very good videos. You don't really need help to understand those videos. So that's a very
Okay,
good
thank
one.
you.
You're most
I
welcome.
will give it a try, inshallah.
Yes, I think you will like it, Junaid. I think all of you would like that. So this was the first question that I remembered from our WhatsApp group. Um, Anything else? It's a small group and we have about 29 minutes. So please, if you have any question in mind, if you want some suggestion,
Mm,
Rabia, you have no question today?
Then I have a question.
Yes, Noreen.
Yes. I have a question regarding would and will difference.
Noreen, your voice isn't very clear. I can't understand exactly what you're saying. Can you, I don't know, maybe fix
I
the
have a
mic?
question about the difference between where we use would and where we use will.
No, Noreen, I don't hear you very well. Can you write your question or?
Okay. Are you listening me now?
I know you're saying something. I hear your voice, but I don't understand what you're saying. Junaid and Rabia, can you hear Noreen?
Yes, I can hear her, but I am also unable to listen to her.
Understand her, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yes, understand her.
I have a question. I repeat
Okay.
that. I have a question. What is the difference between will and would? Where we
Is
use
is your question between do and did? Is that what you're asking?
no will and would.
Will?
Will and would.
Will and would, I think
Will
she
and
Yes,
would?
yes.
Okay. Sorry, Noreen.
Yes.
It was very I wasn't able to hear you. Oh, thank you, Noreen. Okay. So there's a big difference. Very big difference, but it's a very good question. So, will. When we have will, right here, will has many, many features. One is for the future, right? It's the general way of talking about the future. That's one of the ways of talking about will. Okay. Will also equals desire, right? But that is a noun, right? So the noun will is for desire, like when there's a will to do something, right? And this is a verb. When we talk about the future, it's a helping verb or a verb. It's definitely always for the future. And that's pretty much it. So will is really black and white. It has those two meanings as a verb, as a noun. Now, when we talk about would, however, is a little bit more complex in the sense that it has a lot more uses. We can use it in so many more ways. So would is a helping verb that it's a possible future. Okay, so for example, in second conditional, when we're talking about hypothetical situation, we would use if I was a millionaire, which means I am not a millionaire because I'm talking hypothetically. So if I was a millionaire, I would travel the world. I'm talking hypothetically. Again, it's a possibility. Maybe I wouldn't. Maybe $1 million still would not be enough for me. I don't know what I would do, but would is a possible future. Now, would is also technically the past tense of will. Would is also past tense when we talk about something in the past that no longer is true. Okay, so what does that mean? Example, when I was single, I would, what did I do when I was single? Actually, when I was not a mother, I would not have to worry about waking up at night for my child, right? So here, when something was very different, or when you want to show a stark difference between पहले तो ऐसे होता था, but अब ऐसे नहीं होता. So we use would. I would do this. उसका automatically मतलब बन जाता है that now you don't. So when I say that, I think some of you know that I lived in Calgary before getting married. So I can say, when I lived in Calgary, I would visit the mountains very often. Because Calgary is like, for example, in Pakistan, Natia Gali or something like that, right? So you're in the mountains all the time. So every time you have a vacation or a weekend, everybody goes to the mountains for hiking. But when I tell you this sentence, when I lived in Calgary, I would visit the mountains very often. This means pehle main karti thi, ab nahi karti. All that is in would. I don't have to say, but now I don't. I don't need to say that because that is already included in there. तो ये तो दो मतलब हो गए would के. One would is with second conditional for hypothetical situation. So this is in 1 second. So this is one would, right? I don't have my mouse with me, so I'm using my laptop mouse. And then one is the talk about something in the past, no longer true. This is the second meaning of would. Okay. Would can also be a request, right? Would you mind please waiting for a minute? Right? So I'm requesting you, like, would you please do this for me? So it's kind of like a request, or kind of like a permission or a request. Those are the basic meanings of would. Yes, Rabia, you have your hand raised.
Yes, ma'am. Can't we use used to instead of using would here? Like when I lived in Calgary, I visit the mountains very often. So if I used to visit the mountains, would it be wrong?
It would never be wrong. Absolutely. So I used to visit the mountains when I lived in Calgary is exactly the same as I would visit the mountains when I lived in Calgary. Absolutely. It's exactly the same way of saying it. Very good.
But exactly, I don't remember. Once I used to in the group, the challenge you had given to me. I don't know about. I forgot about it. I forget about it. So you said that it was wrong. Like you can't use it. Used to.
Okay, because there's two kinds of used to.
Yes.
I will show you that there's two kinds. So we have used, we have subject. So I, you, me, whatever. Not me, sorry. I, you, he. Subject plus used to plus verb in base form, right? This one is to talk about past habits no longer true. That's very, very necessary. Okay?
Yes,
If I say I used to eat breakfast, this means that now I don't eat breakfast anymore. That doesn't logically make sense. Now, the other used to is again subject plus to be plus used to plus verb ing. This is also a form of used to. This is for habitual actions, something that isn't out of ordinary for you. Now, what does that mean? For example, just move this up. For example, I am used to teaching online since the pandemic, right? So now I can say that working from home or teaching online is now become a part of my habitual life. It's not something out of ordinary for me. It's become a part of habit for me. Even another example would be I am used to I'm used to doing my laundry on weekends, right? It's a habit. I don't do my laundry on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I do my laundry on the weekend. It's what my habit is. It's what my ordinary lifestyle is. Now, what example you use, if you could go and find me the example, Rabia, I would love it, only because then I can really explain to you why, right? Because unless you're using I used to, now, I don't remember your example, but I know that I've heard a lot of people, they will use I used to, kuch bhi, right, for saying something they did in the past. But it's not what you do in the past, it's what your habit was in the past, or maybe your routine, or maybe a part of your life. It's a huge difference.
Okay.
No? So now I have a feeling that maybe that is why I told you, no, you cannot use it over here. Because if you're just telling me कि मैंने परसों ये किया, or when I was younger, मैं ये करती थी. Now, करती थी क्या? Was it like something that बस एक दफा किया? Or was it something that was a part of your habit? So if that context doesn't match, then you cannot use used to.
Ma'am, I'll try to find it out.
Yeah,
Actually, I
please.
can't help.
I know, because sometimes, you know what you guys should do is, and I've told my students at my work, I always tell them to do that, is just to keep a separate note, like on your phone or paper pen note or whatever you guys do. And whenever you have like a question mark thing, put it on there, because जिस वक्त question mark होता है, उस वक्त you're like, oh, I'm going to ask the teacher this question. And when the time comes, it just leaves your mind. It's such a natural thing, right? It happens to everyone. So always keep those, because now you have your phone in your hand. You can just open up a tab on your notes and just save all your questions on there. That way you'll be sure that they get answered.
Ma'am, I have one more question.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, can we use was or is alongside the same way we use have and had? Like, let me give an example. If I tell you something about the past, like she was a teacher then, and she is still a teacher. So, how would I use this? Would I use this was and is alongside, or something else?
So that's a very good question. But first, I want to correct this sentence that you said at the beginning. I have one more question. You want to say, I have another question. When we say ek or is always another. Okay, so that's one thing you have to say correctly. Not I have one more question. I have another question. Koi bhi cheez, if you have ek or, even if you have another apple, or if you have another problem or another friend, it's ek or is always another. So one more you have to remove from your dictionary.
So what does one more mean?
Nothing really. It's just bad English. One more. It's like
It's
it's
like
very.
giving one more donut.
Rabia, you're from Pakistan, right?
Yes, I
Okay, so
am.
everybody here is from Pakistan. I'm happy. I can say this sentence safely. It's very it's very Bollywood English, right? So you
Ma'am,
hear
I
this.
haven't watched
Sorry,
so
Rabia.
much Bollywood movies. I don't watch Bollywood movies.
Okay, you should. I love Bollywood. I love Bollywood movies. I watch them all the time. I
I
just don't
hate
learn. I just don't learn English from there. I'm not stopping you from watching. I love Bollywood, but just in the English on there is really really not good. So this question that you asked, she was a teacher and then she is still a teacher. So then you don't need was, because in Urdu or even in French and many languages, ये बात हम कर सकते हैं कि वो पहले भी teacher थी, अभी भी teacher है. It's fine to say like that, right? In English, it's not really necessary to say that, because when you say she is a teacher, that's it. She is a teacher. But if you want to emphasize, so first of all, you just say she's a teacher. Fact. But let's say you want to emphasize कि पहले भी थी, अभी भी है, then you say she has been a teacher. Now you need to add some duration, right? So you can
Yes.
say she has been a teacher for a long time, or she has been a teacher since I know her, since I met her, like that. And I see that Junaid, you've asked a question between especially and especially. There really is no difference, Junaid. I'm gonna double
सिर्फ
check.
उन्होंने 29 मिनट की लॉन्च की है, जिसमें 15 मिनट दी गई है, 15 मिनट है। अगर निकाल लो तो निकाल लो, नहीं
Noreen, you're on. You're not on mute. इतने प्यार से आप किससे बात कर रही हो?
My husband.
My God, Mike, ऐसे बात करती हो? Mike, we need a different workshop for you, okay? कैसे बात करते हैं? Okay.
He said,
सारा काम वही करता है बेचारा है. Okay, so when we say especially, so I'm going to put it over here. Especially, it's usually used to single out, right? I love traveling, especially with my mother, right? So like I want to single out the person I love traveling with. So that's especially. Especially is more like for a specific purpose. So especially is more for a specific purpose. So I went to the party specially for her. That was the only reason. That was my only purpose of going to the party. So that's the big difference between the two. Is that clear, Junaid?
Yes, ma'am, it is clear.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then, Rabia, you said specially and specifically. I wouldn't say a big difference, right? Because specially means specific purpose, right? So it's kind of like in it, so I wouldn't say that they're the same, but I'm just going to put it in here. Sorry, I wish I had my mouse with me. I don't have my mouse right now. Next time I'll make sure. Specifically would be something, they're all adverbs. All of these are adverbs, of course, as you know, but this would be something like exact or precise, right? So for example, if I say, I specifically asked for a halal pizza last night, right? So that is the exact thing that I asked for. So the exact or the precise thing, I'm just going to put thing like that because it's not the best example, but like I specifically asked for this. Or if you guys were not good teenagers, then your mom always said, I specifically asked you to clean your room, right? ये मैंने एक खास चीज कही थी, right? ज्यादा नहीं कहा था, एक काम Like, just like Noreen gets angry at her husband, you know, like, go and clean the kitchen. She specifically asked her husband to go clean the kitchen. So like that is specific reason. Then Junaid also had a different question. What is the difference between simple past and present perfect tense? Junaid, this is the $1 million question. Okay, but I will try to answer it in less than $1 million. So, past simple.
But ma'am, we have discussed it multiple times. The
Uh,
past simple
not
and present.
not multiple times, Rabia. If I count the amount of times I've been teaching for, well, how long have I been? 25 years. Yeah. Oh my God. Now you know my age. So for 25 years I've been teaching, and if I count, if you gave me 1 rupee for the number of times that I get this question, I will right now, I can leave my job and be a millionaire, okay? Like this is the question of the world, because you know why this is the question of the world? Because it's 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 something that comes naturally to somebody who speaks English, but it does not come naturally to somebody who doesn't speak English and you know, you guys are very, very lucky because you speak Urdu. Those people who I teach over here, they speak French. And in French, there's no way to translate it. But in Urdu, we can. And I'm going to show you how you can translate it into Urdu to get a better idea. Now, in past simple, we talk about the past. We talk about when something happened in the past. The when is mentioned, okay? There is no connection to the present or the future. And the action or the time of the action is finished. So, for example, I grew up in Calgary. The time I grew up is finished. The growing up is also finished. The growing up is also finished. That both the action and the time is finished. Okay. Now, in Urdu, this would be "मैं वहाँ बड़ी हुई थी," because it would be exactly the same in Urdu. I'm not going to say "मैं," I don't even know how to, you wouldn't say it in a way. The only way you would say this in Urdu would be the same thing. I grew up there. मैं वहाँ बड़ी हुई थी. Right? There's no other way of saying it. And you guys know me, I don't like to translate in Urdu and everything, but present perfect is a specific one that I don't mind using it for. Okay, now I want to do the present perfect right underneath here, if it allows me. Okay. Same, we talked about the past. That is similar. I wanted to write that sentence because I want you guys to know that this is very important to remember, that in both tenses, we're still talking about the past. Matlab, ye nahi change hota. This is exactly the same. It stays the same. Okay, so we talk about the past in both senses. However, we do not talk about when something happened. There is a connection to now or the future. The action or the time is not finished. Okay, so this is really important. Now, we use this a lot for talking about life experiences, life in general, because if you're talking about life, that means you're alive, you're not dead, right? This is the most important I can think of right now. Okay, so then I would end up the format you already know. It's have or has plus the past participle. So I have lived in Montreal since 2006. My living in Montreal is not finished, right? My action, living in Montreal, is not finished. I'm still here. I'm still alive until I die or until I move. Whatever happens, I'm still here, right? And I'm using the word since plus exact time, right? So I'm not telling you when I moved here. I'm not using the verb move. Moving is finished. I already moved here in 2006. That will be in the past. But you have to see what verb are you using. So now in Urdu, I'm not going to say मैं Montreal में रह रही थी because I'm still here. So I will say मैं जब से, so 2006 से Montreal में रह रही हूँ, right? I'm doing जब से, which is past, and रह रही हूँ, which is present. I'm connecting the present in one sentence. I'm using past and present. That format, because you can do it in Urdu, it should make it very easy for you to understand, because this format of मैं जब से रह रही हूँ, that can't happen in many other languages, but it can happen in Urdu. So that's a very, very big bonus point for you. I highly recommend that the website I showed you, actually, I'm going to ask you guys to please do this. Please go on engvid.com, search present perfect, watch, do the quiz, and then ask me more questions. Okay, I think that should be pretty fair if you guys do that. If you still have more questions, I will be more than happy to explain this again and again. You can ask me every time there's a workshop. You can ask me. You can ask me in the WhatsApp group also. You can always ask me. But I really recommend go on engvid.com, search present perfect, watch the videos. There's going to be a lot of videos. There's going to be a lot of different teachers. Find a teacher that you like listening to, because every teacher has a different way of explaining things sometimes. So listen to the teacher and you decide if you like the way they explain, you like that one a little bit more, because that's step number one. Watch their videos. Don't watch one, don't watch two, watch a few, and then do the quizzes after each. Then tell me, okay, I have a better idea, or say, no, I still don't have a better idea, and then I can find another way of explaining it to you. But present perfect is a tense that we speak in a lot. So it's not a tense that I can tell you that if you don't know, just ignore it. You need to know it. A good place to see the present perfect tense is the news. To read the news, and oh my God, don't read the news in Urdu, because not in Urdu, but the Pakistani English newspapers. Oh my God. When I go to Pakistan, I haven't been in many years, but when I used to, Rabia, I'm going to say I used to go to Pakistan, because in the past, it was a habit. It was a routine. It was a part of my life to go to Pakistan. That tells you, when I tell you I used to go to Pakistan, that means ab main nahi jati, right? So that is a big thing to tell you too, that this is how we used to. So when I used to go to Pakistan, at my Mahmoud's house or anyone's, there would always be the English newspapers, the News and the Dawn and whatever else. And I would just pick it up. Everybody would be reading, and I would pick up the newspaper too. And I couldn't understand the news in there. And I was always thinking, like, inki English mujhse behtar hai. But the thing is that they use English that nobody in the world uses. Nobody speak, and you know what? I don't have to convince you on this. I suggest you go on cbc.ca, find a world news, like international news, read it, find the same news in a Pakistani newspaper, and look at the difference between the language used. In the Pakistani newspaper, they're going to use such fancy words and everything, and in English one, in a Canadian one, they're not going to use that. That's a big point for you to know, that we don't need to speak magnificent, humongous words to impress somebody in English. We need to use simple words, but properly to impress somebody. I have resigned from my job today. They're both correct, Junaid, because if you're saying today, then today is not over. Because remember, the time is not finished. So today, if you're using the word today, तो उसका मतलब है कि today is not over. So both the sentences are correct. Rabia, sorry?
Ma'am, मैं कह रही थी कि nothing, ma'am, I forgot.
You forgot so quickly?
Yes, ma'am, I have some mental health problems.
Well, I will pray for you, inshallah. And if you remember it back, just send me a quick message. Okay, you know how to message me. So message me anytime. You don't have to wait to message me. You can message me anytime. And I prefer you message me. If you guys have a question in English and you message right away, why I like that is because it's gonna help you the best way. The minute you guys have a question, message it to me right away. I will always answer you back, inshallah. So I will send this
Ma'am,
document. Yeah.
is it same using I have lived in or I have been living in?
It's the same. The only difference between that is a very good question, actually. It is no big difference. First of all, no, there's no difference. I have lived, I have been living. They're absolutely the same. The only difference is I have been living emphasizes on nonstop. It emphasizes on duration. Because after the oops, I made a mistake. After the living, you're going to add more to your sentence, right? You're going to say, I have lived in Montreal for 18 years, and I have been living in Montreal for 18 years. So when you say, I have been living, you're focusing or emphasizing on the 18 years. Everyone, I really, really love talking to you guys, but it's 11:03 over here, and my class with Dr. Shadad Salim started 3 minutes ago. So I'm going to run to that class now. And inshallah, I'm going to try to do something like this. Even if I have the three of you, I can do these as many times as you guys like, okay? So let's do a few of these before the September school year begins. And inshallah, let's do it next week. So please save your
Thank you so
questions.
much,
Please
ma'am.
ask your questions either privately or in the WhatsApp group, or save them for the workshop. And inshallah, I will see you guys soon. So take care, everyone. Allah Hafiz.
Love.